Gentlemen, give us your top 2024 games that you're most excited about for this year.
Can I do a little asterisk, like a little sidebar? Because there's a game that we all know that I want to say, but I can't say. But I just want to just give it a shout out because it won't be in my top 3, but it's really, we all know me.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody who listens knows exactly what game you're about to say.
Yes.
So we'll just automatically make that your number tier star superstar.
S tier.
S tier star one. There we go.
Final Girls Series 3. I have been begging for it. So that's all I got to say. Okay, cool. Let's do a top 3.
I just hope they get Series 2 back in stock because people are begging me for that. And I sell a lot of it here.
And Krampus too, right?
No, Krampus I still have a lot of those, believe it or not. So anyway, Inventions. I'm excited about Inventions. I'm starting first. I'm starting with my number 1 right out of the gate. I don't
you're
care.
Just going hot.
I'm just going hot right out of the gate. Inventions. I think I'm most excited about this one.
Wow, what a surprise. He's excited about a Lacerda game.
Well, because you put Lacerda and you put Ian O'Toole together, done, sign me up. Like literally you could put anything in the box and I'm going to buy it as a board game enthusiast because his games I cannot master. And that's what I like about board games. I know there's not a ton of I hear the naysayers going, there's not a ton of tabletop interaction, and there's not. I have so much going on in this tiny brain of mine that I like to sit down and get lost in a game for 3 or 4 hours and think, God, Lacerda does that for me. So, and Ian O'Toole does some of the best looking art you will see on any board game cover or any board game period. And it's done by Eagle Griffin, which is going to be one of those massive boxes that just feels like the pieces were where they should be. The put away and takeout's going to be amazing. I am super excited about this game. Those two have teamed up on like one of my favorite games, Weather Machine. It's like one of my favorite games of last year. Love the game. Lisboa, Vinhos, however you want to say it. I love his games. So that's my number 1 right out the gate. I don't even care. Anything else is said beyond this point doesn't matter because that is the game. And it's coming out early this year too. I think Q1 is supposed to drop. So very excited about it. Can't wait to get my hands on it.
Jay?
All right. Now we got the one thing out of the way. Not your one thing, the one thing I said earlier.
Okay.
I care about.
Well, actually,
I want to play it because you're so excited.
What's that? Inventions?
Inventions, yes.
It's going to be good. I don't know. Hopefully it's better than Weather Machine, but right now Weather Machine is one of those that the first time I got to the table, it was like, man, I can't figure out how to get what I want to get what I need to do. And I just felt like I just could not move along the board. And then the second time we got it out, it started making sense and clicking. And then now it's like, how do I master it based on, what I'm trying to do? And you're activating Weather Machines. And Inventions feels very similar in taste of the Weather Machine, except you're working on different inventions. And you're trying to produce them and push them out. And some of the key elements that I liked about Weather Machine, hopefully they'll carry over in this one. But like literally, you could put Lacerda on a box, poop in it, and I will pay money for it. It doesn't matter. I am down with.
It's not hard to please you.
No, not with that. And there's very few that go right to the top of my list. If he's releasing something, it's top. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. I just cut you off.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
Cutting you off.
Yeah, you're good. I do love a good horror game, and so the 3rd installment of Nemesis is coming out this year.
Oh, that's right.
And I believe it's called Nemesis Rebellion. I've seen gameplay. It is not your grandma's Nemesis. You are going in there like there's no way to not trigger aliens. Like you are an army that you're going in trying to secure this base and get out. But then it's also,
Do they still gonna have like the hidden element thing and everything?
The hidden element. They have the main thing, but even the board is different because it's not a board. It's more of a hex style. So you don't even know what's coming out. Like you have section A, section B, section C, and then you just go to a section, you flip a card over. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I
haven't seen it played very much. I have looked a little bit on it. They keep getting better. Like I think Lockdown's better than a Nemesis, and then I think the next version. I think they realize some of the things that they're able, to do in game mechanics and gameplay.
I feel like sometimes Nemesis is just hard to pull out. I mean, Awakened Realms really needs to get better with rule books because it is.
I agree with that.
That is a game or a company that I struggle with so many of their games if I don't watch videos. And I'm on record already on this, as they're one of my favorite publishers. They've got some games I am ecstatic about this year. One that's not on my list that it should be is Dragon Eclipse, which looks absolutely fantastic. I'm all in on that one. But But I just feel like that's the kind of company that I'm glad to see they're evolving it. I just hate that it's like Apple, right? Like, don't buy the first version. Wait, wait.
Don't download Windows right away. Wait for it to go through a few iterations. Got you.
But I love Nemesis. Like, I agree with you. You do need to watch the video because rulebook is kind of thick. It's a thick boy.
Yeah,
But it's a thick boy. And so I will give you that. And I always usually I watch
it's
videos
not even
for
that
it
it's
too.
a thick boy. It's the fact that it's a thick and competent boy.
Well,
And that's the part I don't like about it, because I can sit there and read that thing 15 times and still need to watch a video to understand some of the rules.
Honestly, I was taught it, so it was so much better to have somebody who already did all that and then sit down and teach me.
Yeah.
They did teach me the cooperative one, so I got to put a bad taste in my mouth right away with the first Nemesis.
you don't play.
I was like, this is not
That's the
that
only way I've
fun.
played it.
Yeah,
See, that's another
it's
reason why
not-
you
yeah.
need to play it the actual way.
It's
Like,
not the way it's meant to be
it's
played.
not
I think what happened was what it feels like to me, they designed the game and then someone at the table was like, hey, we really need to make it so everybody can play and don't have this horrible screw you element. And then they're like, oh, well, let's create another side thing. Almost like when they do the the Autotronic or whatever it is, the one player. It's almost like they hand it to somebody else and go, figure out how to make this work with one player. And it's not made with that in mind, right? So I think a lot of games drop the ball with that. And this one is the same way. I don't think you should be taught, or even they should have the cooperative mode on it, because that's not the way it's supposed to be played. Just like Dead of Winter is not made to be played cooperative. You play it with the scary stuff that you flip over and you play through the crossroads and that kind of thing. That's the best way to play it. So I think the same way with Nemesis, and that put a bad taste in my mouth with Nemesis, so I wasn't on the Nemesis hype train very early. And I'm waiting for the new one to come out. I think it's going to be really good. I think it'll be a good one too.
Well, I didn't listen to the assignment.
Of course, I won't see it for next year probably.
well, hopefully not. Hopefully you see it this year. Not gonna
No, well, so because somebody will buy the thing and bring it in, but I won't see it in my retail store. Why? Because Awaken Realms doesn't release until almost 2 months after it's released on everywhere else.
Yeah.
And then I can get it through Asmodee if they let me have it.
Well, I did not listen to the assignment. I, of course, I have a lot of games on here, so I'm going to put some asterisks before I get to my number 3.
Okay.
The Heat expansion was on there, so I'm just going to cut that out since we just talked about that. But that's so high on my list. The other one I'm going to put a little asterisk next to is Ascending Empire. This is a Zenith edition. So this is kind of a re-release. It's a 4X game with dexterity, which is right up Shay and I's out. Well, I don't know about the 4X part, but the dexterity part. So effectively, you're going to explore a universe, and you're using some flicking skills. And I'm in on this. So I saw a nice little highlight of it. The board looks beautiful. They're great deluxified pieces right out of the gate, which I really appreciate. And it looks like it plays in about an hour and a half, kind of like Last Light. So if you have a 4X game and you've got dexterity now, I am so in on this thing, and I cannot wait for this game. But it did not make my list. So that'll lead to number 3 that I have here, which is going to be Fractured Skies from Ivy Studios. This is one that I backed last year. I've backed pretty much everything from Ivy. Love their product. Incredibly good quality on everything. But Fractured Skies coming out, I had a chance to play this at Gen Con, and it did nothing short of completely reinforce my excitement of why I backed this game. It is gorgeous. I love that it's a little bit of a hidden gem where you're kind of playing games with the people you're playing against. You're trying to control the different parts of the board. There's going to be gems on the table, and you're trying to acquire those. Whoever gets the most wins the game. But at the end of the day, all of your pieces have numbers to the bottom of them. Nobody can see your pieces. So effectively, you're kind of placing them. Nobody knows the value. So as you kind of move your pieces, you're kind of guessing what value your other players, your competition have, and whoever has the highest score in the different zones controls those zones. So there's just a little bit of this hidden knowledge, kind of trying to poker read what your competition is doing. And to me, I love that style of game. And so it's more about reading your opponent than it necessarily is reading the board. And I kind of like that mechanic. So again, the pieces are stunningly gorgeous. They feel great in the hand. And so Ivy Studios, I think, did a phenomenal job with this one. Super excited to get it.
You've lost me at 2 elements that I hate in board games. Or I dislike in board games. I don't like bidding.
Fun?
bidding is not one, and dexterity. So
Well, this isn't dexterity.
I thought you said
simply
you flick.
No, that's ascending.
Oh, you went off
Empire.
So you talked so much, you went through 2 of them.
No.
No. There were 2 asterisks that he
Two
said.
asterisks.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And then the first one was he. The other
Gotcha.
one was the
Okay.
the fourth
Ascending.
Okay,
And then,
I dozed
Ascending
off.
Empire.
Sorry,
Yeah, I know. 'Cause as soon as you heard dexterity, you was like,
I was out.
No.
As soon as
No.
he's like dexterity, I was like, don't care.
No. Fractured Sky is the one I was talking about. That's from Ivy Studios. That's my
Gotcha.
number 3.
Gotcha.
cool.
Fractured Skies. Okay.
Number 2, Deon.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I went from 1 down to
I
2.
know you
So
did.
my
The
next was
two- the two still
Civolution.
lines up.
Civolution actually was announced at Spiel last year, Spiel des Jahres or whatever, over in Germany. It's done by Stefan Field. I think he's amazing. He's done games like Castles of Burgundy. No, never heard of that one. Bora Bora, which is pretty fun. I have that here in the store. I
Spent
like that one.
$180 on a reprint, Deon. You know I know about that game.
Marrakesh, it's a really good one that just came out by him not too long ago. So he does good work. He's kind of known to do good work. So I'm a little excited about what he's got coming out.
A little feather in the cap of good.
Yeah, well, in this one there was like they would sit down and play at it for 4 or 5 hours were the play times at the event, and people were like begging to get into play. So I'm really excited to play. It looks really good. Very happy about that. Deep Print Games and Stefan Fields are joining for Civolution, and right now my favorite Civ builder is Mosaic. I like that probably better than anything because it's 3 hours. No matter if you've got 6 people at the table or you got 2, it's going to be 3 or less hours, which I love a time because in civilization games or Civ building games, there gets a point
They can
about
drag.
2 hours in, 2.5 hours in, and you go, I'm definitely going to lose this game. And then usually you got another 3 hours before the game ends. And then you're like, great, I sat around for 3 more hours knowing I was going to lose, and what happened? I lost. So I like the 2.5, 3 hour kind of playtime. So this one's 4. So it's probably just as everything I hate about civilization games, but it is done by an amazing designer that I can't wait to get my hands on, which will be out this year. It actually was released last year, but we won't see it over here in the States until this year. So I'll be looking out for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 2, I don't know what it is about IPs, but I like this idea of Dead Cells, a roguelite board game. I want to see it. Like I've seen gameplay, I want to play it because if you haven't played the video game is basically you're this kind of being that's going through this castle and you're trying to level up, and when you die, you can get like any roguelite game. And they did it in this card form, and why I'm so excited, one of my favorite companies, Scorpion Mask, is making it.
Wow.
And so like I'm that much intrigued more of it because they have, to my understanding, haven't missed on my boat. I loved every game that I've played of theirs.
How do you do a 2D side scroller in a board game?
It's a card because you can pick what board you want, and there are different types of, and I'm going off from memory. I haven't seen this in a while, but there's different types of like the people you can be, the different skins, and then you go through like one thing. There's like cards you try to face, and there's the maps of the different places on the in the game, and you kind of pick your path like kind of in the game, and I believe it's mostly card based. But again, I haven't seen a playthrough because I've been waiting for this for a while. Becca Stott did a little gameplay of it.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Level 99 does
Would it kind of be a little bit like Clank?
Well, some of
type
their
game?
some of their games. Go ahead.
Sorry, Black Souls is a 2D.
Yeah, Black Souls is
Side-scroller.
kind of a 2D-ish type of
Uh,
side scroller, but you're programming in that one, aren't you?
Yeah, that's
It's like more of like
that's
a programming
The
game.
joke is that you're making a Dark Souls-like game. You're
Yeah.
trying to make it as hard as possible, but people can still beat it just barely at the
Yeah.
end. But you're making panels and side-scrolling in 2D through each.
Well,
panel
Level
of the game.
99 has a game to where you're building it as you go, and you're moving your character along and building the side scrolling, so it's constantly moving. And there's like 4 cards that, and I can't remember the name of it, but I know Level 99 Studios does it, and they do it with like a 2D-ish feel of going through it, and I know they do an okay job at it. So I'm excited to see kind of what the game that you're mentioning, see if it's any good. But again, doesn't really excite me, but I mean, it does. I want to see how they do it.
Exactly, because I think it'd be a cool idea to make a roguelike board game.
Well, and I'm a
So
huge
that's-
fan of like different mechanics.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if you don't see a mechanic that's used very often and someone tries to do it, I'm I'm very excited to try it. Like you got me to the table. If you're like, oh, this one has that's how Ark Nova got me to the table, to be honest with you, because I was not excited. They're like, you build a zoo, and I'm like, sounds dumb. They're like, well, it's the Terraforming Mars Killer. Didn't care about Terraforming Mars. Next. They're like, well, it has this really cool card element where you drop down and you use the power, then you slide. And I was like, sold, put it at the table. Let's check it out. Right. So for me, the mechanic matters. And there's only like a couple games that I've ever played that had that same mechanic. So I was like, oh, I want to see how they do it. And if they do it better than the last game I played with it. But I'm tired of them using, there's no brand new mechanic coming out. So I like to see how, and that's really the difference in gaming, because there's so many coming out, how they can utilize a mechanic like nobody else can do it. And it's rare that you run across something that, stands out. So hopefully this is a game that will stand out.
Did that Slay the Spire board game ever come out?
It hasn't come out yet. No. It's coming out.
It's coming.
But it's coming.
So that's your to me, Slay the Spire is like the best or the pinnacle of roguelike video games.
Fair.
Side scrollers.
Fair. Oh no,
Those
that.
are
But see,
roguelite.
but that's more that roguelike is more like a board game.
Well, I was gonna say I
That's
can't think of many
Yeah.
video games that are more suited to be a video or a board game. The problem is, and I got Slay the Spire. I went all in on the Kickstarter because I love the game. My fear is if it's so much like the game, Deon, you've brought this issue up before, but do I want to set the cards up and the game up if I can just hop on my phone and play essentially the same experience, but without all the setup and teardown?
Well, the
That's my
difference
only
is can you
fear.
play it? So there's no more co-op in board games, right?
This
There's no more
does have a co-op, by
I'm
the
sorry,
way.
there's no more co-op in, excuse me, there's no more co-op in, I guess, couch co-op in video games anymore. Like when you want to play it, you play online or you call your buddy up or
Super
whatever
Mario
it is.
Wonders has that.
But it's rare that you're going to sit next to somebody. That's why a lot of people like I'm not a Nintendo fan, so I'm going to poop all over Nintendo. But that's why a lot of people like the Nintendo games, because you can sit here in Mario Kart next to each other and be like, I just crashed you. Oh, yeah, this is great. And so if it could bring that feel to a board, I can see a use for it in the market.
Yeah.
To where it brings us the ability to not have to individually jump on our phones or try to connect via link or whatever it is. We have it here as a board that sets in front of us and lets us disconnect. I'm 100% like push, let's go. I'm not a big fan of Slay of the Spire. Everybody's freaking out about it.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. But
The board
you know,
game is going to have a 2-player mode though, which I think
That's good.
I think it helps its cause to be
yeah,
different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there are some times where it's like, oh, it'd be nice to have somebody to kind of think this through with. So I think it'll be great for that purpose. But
So normally, is it just a single player game though? Is that
100%
what?
of the
Yeah,
time
100%,
it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
it is
Oh
a
wow!
single
So
player game.
so it's just that two. So
The board game is going to have a 2-player version. So that's a whole new variant.
oh,
that's
right
never
into
been.
my trash as soon as everybody's like, oh, check out. I was like, yeah, not. So I went right to.
Well, you can
but
check mine out and see if it's up your alley.
Probably
or
not if it's only a 2-player game. But
No, no,
yes.
it's a 1-player game, but
Yeah,
they have
that's exactly
a
right.
co-op
That's
option.
well, the 1-player game thing.
He
so.
doesn't do so.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right, so my number 2 is tell us what you think in the comments below.
Yeah.
All
all
right,
over
my number 2 is going to be Undaunted 2200. Callisto. So I became a really big fan of Undaunted because of Stalingrad.
Okay, yeah, they did a great job. They do a great job with their games.
Yeah, Undaunted Stalingrad to me was just. I'd never really gotten into the Undaunted series. And then when I played Stalingrad, the whole legacy campaign to it, and you're playing against somebody, and the decisions that you make, and do I take this soldier who's a little bit more modified up to a battle that I think I'm gonna lose? Like, there's just so much strategy in your decisions, and the fact that you can impact how a map looks on the next campaign because of what you did in the previous campaign. You blow the library up this campaign. Well, guess what? In the next one, library's not there for cover. So to me, it just had such a unique element of that ongoing campaign saga, but stooped in so much history with Stalingrad and World War II, which I find super fascinating. Battlelore Britain was fantastic because it took to the sky. That was my vote for expansion of the year for the Golden Meeples. And so to me, it's almost like when Battlefield did Battlefield 2042 or whatever it was. I feel like that's kind of what this is. It's the first time they're going into the future. Everything they've done has been Normandy and all the historic, North Africa, and now we're going to the future.
Well, their hands were kind of tied on those previous games. Now they're not. They can create whatever future they want to create. So I'm excited to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think there are some of the best games as you're playing through the scenario and you're getting to enjoy it with somebody that's out there. And the reasons I love one of my favorite games, My Father's Work, is because it changes as you're playing. And this is one of those games that changes as you're playing, which I can't wait to see what they do with it. But I think untying their hands and doing that, hopefully it turns out way better than Battlefield 2042 or whatever it was. But I'm excited to see what they do with it, because now, like you said, their hands are untied and they can really push forward on their imagination of whatever they want to bring to the table with that. So,
Yeah. So Deon, I guess what's your number 3?
yeah, I went other way. So I went 1, 2, 3. So 3 is Andromeda's Edge. I'm really excited about this one. It is Luke and Maximus Lori, I think is their last name. Cardboard Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Dwellings of Everdell, Cryo. Those are done by the same Luke.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table here with Andromeda's Edge. Plus, it's one that I pre-ordered and prepaid and have it here available for the people that prepaid through me with the pledge. And I think it's one that'll get a little bit of play here when it does come through.
And
So
they talked about being on the show as well. So we're
Really?
going to hold them accountable to get on our show as well.
that's cool. Yeah, I just found out tonight he's like a high school teacher, which is pretty cool, like a high school science teacher, which is pretty sweet. And then he makes these awesome games like Cryo. I think is a lot of fun. I've played it a couple times. Dwelling of Eldervale I didn't really enjoy, but only because I think the box and the way that they did the retail thing, they better not do with Andromeda's Edge. They will burn me, and I will totally flame them from here on forward. I will say anything is crap from them if they do that again. I thought that the way that they did the boxing, for those of you who don't know, Dwellings of Eldervale it was a really fun game. The problem is it came with retail version, came with empty boxes in it. Like, oh, you could have got this if you backed it.
Oh,
And they were empty. So, but the box had all the box art. You open it up and it was just an empty box to fill the space because they didn't want to repackage for retail. And they were like, oh, but you can go to the website and order these. Or you should have backed it in
Subtle way
order
to
to
sell
get
their
these.
other product.
I thought it was pretty crappy. As a person opening the box, pulling it out on the table, as you're opening stuff and going, because I don't like to miss out on anything. I'm like anybody else. I want all the expansions. Even though I'll probably never get the expansions to the table, I still want them all. And so I just was really frustrated that they went about it that way.
Is there a big difference between the way that they did that and Heat having a bunch of empty car slots showing?
Yes, because they didn't like leave empty boxes in there of amazing things they didn't leave like empty boxes of the cars that were designed differently than all the other cars that would be like, ooh, you could also play this amazing thing if you would have backed it, but you're a loser, so go online and pay for it like the rest of us.
And I also think there's a little bit difference of, hey, we're going to put a slot here for a new car and a future expansion that we haven't released yet versus here's an empty spot for something that you should have also bought when you got this right away.
And I enjoy the fact that they thought well enough ahead to go, oh, you're going to be able to put everything in this box.
Yeah.
Like I like, maybe not everything because they're going to be 1,000 maps,
right.
right? But you can put majority of the game, the first couple expansions you could probably fit within the box. Beyond that, you're on your own.
Well, it goes to something.
And I like them thinking ahead of time, right?
It goes back to something we talked about before of are you angry if a game says, hey, you can kind of see that area over there, but it's just not released yet because we're not done with it, versus you see that area over there, it's a day one patch that you can buy if you just spend an extra $20. And it's like, no, you're done with this.
And then,
you could have given this to me with the original game.
and some of this stems from my being a retailer and trying to retail games and fighting with the bus that is Kickstarter / GameFound and fighting against that because I hear it all the time in the shop. Oh, I just backed this for $150. Oh, I just backed that for $350. And I'm like, oh, great. That's awesome. I wish I could get it so I could sell it to you for that and we could all be happy and continue to provide you a place to play. And so I think it frustrates between that and the online sales that we're always fighting with. So we try to focus our business more on the community base than just the sales, but sales help pay the bills. Not going to lie. So I think some of that frustrates behind the fact that, oh, here, buy this for your customers. And then we're going to sit and laugh at them for not buying the heavy version that came out. Or, it isn't like they gave me 2 versions of, oh, this is a retail. We're just going to dumb down the box. Maybe put a sheet in there that says you can get all these other expansions here. I'd have been okay with it. Like, I would have been like, okay, that's a start. But they came there was 4 boxes in this that you would pull out, open up, and be like, why is this empty? And then it would say right on the front, ooh, this awesome and it looked good. Like, it was like, oh man, this looks like a great expansion to this game that I would love to have. And they're like, you could get it here. And, you know, if you would have bought the Kickstarter, this would have been in the box. And I'm like, what a douchebag thing to do. Like, why would you do that to if you're going to, I understand it probably cut costs to just print them and then go, hey, don't fill those boxes, but fill those boxes, leave those empty. But it really frustrating as a retailer / purchaser of it to have that kind of thrown in your face that, oh, you missed the Kickstarter or you weren't able to get it. By the way, they didn't do a retail Kickstarter for it, so double slap in the face, you know. And then you run into that.
They had the purchases of the upgrades, like the deluxe upgrade and the legendary.
I don't think they did that through
upgrade.
retail. I wasn't able to get them. I struggled to get the game itself. I got 2 of them and they went very fast.
Yeah.
Mike bought a copy of it and we sat here and opened it and we were both very frustrated. And Mike being a Kickstarter, you know, you show somebody that buys Kickstarters all the time that he waited and got it at his local game store like a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd sit there and laugh at him because you're like, aha, you should have got this online, loser. Spend your money with us. And I was like, that irked me a bit. Both reasoning for what him and me. So I think that if long as they don't do that, which I'm getting, they did a good, and they've done a good job so far with
they're
this
different companies
GameFound.
too.
So they're different companies. So hopefully that kind of thing flies through.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same developer, but different companies.
So as we have him on, Luke, I want to ask him if he had any say in that. I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure it was the publisher that said we're going to do it this way, and he was just like, "Well, you cut cost where you can," and I'm sure he would probably, being a gamer, would feel the same way if you're opening up stuff. But anyway, that was my biggest. I stood on my soapbox for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah,
your turn. Number 3 or 1 or wherever you're at. Did you do it the right way?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, see, I went backwards.
I'm so nervous.
I got
about
so
number
excited
1.
to share my number 1.
But I think okay. Number 1, most anticipated game, Midnight Void, the RPG. I got you. I'm nervous. Look,
Why would you be nervous?
because
So is there an official release date on that?
it's gonna come out this year.
Are you sure? 100% positive.
100%
You're
Why
putting
would
it
you
out.
be nervous?
I'm putting it out like like I have in the bag.
Do you know how you're going to do it?
First of all, why don't you explain to people what this is?
Yes.
So, I've been working on this RPG. It's called The Midnight Void. It's a horror anthology RPG that you play. It has this little dice system that I love. It's a shrinking dice system that's called The Void. And it's meant for like one-shots. And it's meant for like a short. It's going to be like a little zine. And I have been listening to Jamie.
Jamie Stagmeyer, that is.
Yeah. And then I did listen to the little thing recorded today, and
Yes.
but this is something that I was going to do anyway. But I'm thinking it's going to happen
There's
this
no
year.
thinking. There's either
It's
doing or not
going
doing.
to happen this year. I already know. Like the whole game is in my bag right now. Like there's no reason.
You've ran it here a couple times and have great response from the community. They've enjoyed it.
Well, let me just stop right there. Like and comment. Tell us below, Shay, it's time to get off the pot. Get this thing out there. And believe in yourself.
That went right to his drug habit,
it's
like
because
directly to his
there's
drug
even-
habit. Get off the pot and make it happen. Is
It's
that what,
people that have been
different. Gotcha.
saying that I should have had it already out. There's people in the Gamesmith Club that just want it. There's no, the game is written. I have gotten it revised. They're still getting revised for little things. It's there. There's no, I even know who I want to do the art for it. There's no.
Do you know how
There's no.
RPG, what is that one? Drive-through RPG, or are you gonna?
I'm going to have it both PDF because I know me getting the book. I want people to have it by Halloween.
I agree.
I
They should
really
have it
want that.
before Halloween,
They should have it
so
before
they can
Halloween,
have
so they can
some
have
great
something to
experience
do.
during Halloween. I agree.
And so that's why I'm doing the last little paperwork and figuring out like how long it takes for them to send. Because I'm thinking I know the company I'm going to print it through. It matters how long it takes them to send it to me so I can send it out. But I definitely going to have a digital copy too. So just in case like that physical copy doesn't come out, they will definitely get the both of it. So they will end up playing it, but it's happening.
So in the comments,
It's happening.
tell Shay, get it done.
That's right. Get off
We,
his drugs and make it happen.
In Tabletops episode 2, which will come out soon, Evan Katz with Evan and Josh Special Company. That was actually one of the things that he highlighted in our interview was about how when they were coming up with one of their first games, it was just get it out and see how it does, and don't overthink it. And so that's something hopefully Shay takes to heart. So
yeah, number 1, Midnight Void.
The tabletop RPG is his number 1.
There
Nice.
it is.
Nice.
My
I didn't know that was coming out. Maybe I should change my list now.
Yeah. Well, my number 1 is actually the flip of you. We have the same one. Just flipped. My number 1 is Andromeda's Edge as well.
Oh, nice.
That won the 2023 Golden Meeple for most anticipated game of 2024. And there's a lot of reason. Aesthetically, the artwork is absolutely stunning. The pieces and the deluxification look absolutely fantastic.
It's not crazy expensive either.
No, I mean,
It's
it's reasonable with what you're
it
getting.
is. Yeah.
You're going to get a 75-pound box. You're going to break your back taking it downstairs to your game table. You're not going to be able to hide it from your wife. She's going to see it and be annoyed. But overall, I love all the factions that I've seen so far. I love the deluxifications that come with it. I think that the mechanics look great. I was a big fan of Duel Links of Elderville. I think that game was a beautiful game. I did get all the upgrades. I did get the legendary upgrade pack.
There's a lot of boxes in there.
And so and the Minotaur and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But moral of the story is if it's anything like Dwellings, but now it's in space, I can't argue it, and I'm really excited about it. So that's my number. So gentlemen, I've got an asterisk. Should expect that with me at this point, but I have to say 2024 is a big year for the Champions of Tabletop, and it's not just all the exciting things that we're going to try to do for you guys this year on camera.
You're changing your number 1 game to Midnight Void.
I should. I should, but I didn't know that was going to be said.
Yeah.
But it's not just Shay. So somebody else on the team also has something really big coming out this year that I want to make sure gets announced too, and that is our good boy Brandon.
Good boy.
Well, he's a good boy because he came
boy.
back, even though we kicked him off last year for AI Bot. Our boy Brandon is coming out with his own faction for the tabletop miniature game of Free Blades. He has spent quite a while working on this. He developed everything himself, all the characters, the lore, the mechanics. He helped co-design the artwork with some great artists at the team over there. And so I believe it's going to first come out at Adepticon. So for any of you who will be attending that, please make sure you go find Brandon and go check out this absolutely fresh off the presses new faction with Free Blades. So I just wanted to make sure that was said, because I'll tell you what, like it's so exciting as an entrepreneur to see people chasing their dreams. I can't think of anything more exciting in the world than somebody setting a goal and working towards it. And so Shay, that's why I'm pushing you on this. Get it done, because I want to see you be successful. Brandon, I'm proud of you for what you've done. 2024 is going to be the best year yet for the Champions of Tabletop, and I'm excited.
And
for
Voss
you guys.
Media, we're celebrating our 4th year this year, and we do things way different than anybody else. We've got play D&D to NT1D, which is our first charitable event where we're going to play dungeons. We're going to teach Dungeons and Dragons and try to end type 1 diabetes. So it's going to be our first charitable event. We're also doing 65 plus events a month still, piling them on and piling them out and growing our community, which is amazing. So I'm very excited to jump on the bandwagon of the excitement on this side of for 2024 of, just growing the business. We're putting together learning through board gamings for the local school districts, where we're going to be teaching board gamings at certain events for the school districts here locally, and getting more social ability into the school districts locally. And so we're working on all of that, and it's going to be a great year. We got a ton of irons in the fire here, and hopefully, I think a conversation Brandon and I was having before when we were just sitting down talking and having our dinner, was we have a lot going on, and you just hope you don't drop any of those balls along the way, because you're juggling a lot right now. And so you've got a lot of irons in the fire, and we hope all of them come out hot